A few days of backpacking here in the great state of Tennessee, Big South Fork. Oh boy, that's rain. And I hear that rain is dumping, so gotta go. I'm stuck right here, and so are you. Wow, I am glad that we got to camp early. Oh man. Hey everybody, Syntax 77 here, and by here I mean here in the great state of Tennessee, about to do a backpacking trip, you and I together. I am in specifically the Big South Fork National Recreation Area. Drove here last night, actually not quite to here. I drove from Delaware, kind of outside of Philly if you're not familiar with that, and it took me about 10 hours to get to around Knoxville, Tennessee, and I took a little 4-hour sleep break there and drove here this morning another hour and a half or so, and here I am. Now this area has been suggested to me by several viewers over the years, and it comes highly recommended. Unfortunately, I had the opportunity to do a few days of backpacking. Now the area I came in is the Bandy Creek Visitor Center. Well, actually it's over there a little bit. I don't know why I parked here with my trusty VW, but I probably could have parked over there. I guess I just wanted a little peace and quiet before I went in, other than these bugs singing to me right now. Now there's plenty of places you can access the Big South Fork area, but Bandy Creek seems to be a nice central hub for a lot of trails, and I'm going to try to put together a loop. But you know what? Let's talk while we're on the trail. So I'll grab my pack here and my map, put my keys away, got my GPS ready to rock. I'll be recording all this GPS data. You can download it on my website if you so please. And the pack itself, I won't go into too many details because it is exactly what I put on my 2017 Ultralight backpacking gear list video. I mean, exactly. When I did that video, I actually packed my pack and then unpacked it and showed everything in it. And then afterwards, well, my gear was already packed, so I went ahead and took it down here. So it's exactly what's on there, including the fact that on that video I forgot to mention one item, which is my Tyvek ground cloth, and sure enough I don't have it right now either. So yeah, we're fairly accurate on the gear list. But let's get this thing on and get on the trail. This will be the last time we see pavement for a little bit. I've actually got 3 days off. 2 nights, 3 days. Today is actually Tuesday. I was lucky enough to be able to come in the middle of the week instead of a weekend, so that should be cool. And then I'll do basically a loop. Now I'm not exactly sure. I have a general idea of the loop, but I have a couple options for either longer or shorter depending on my mood as I progress, I suppose. Right now it's about 10:30, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a bunch of miles and really crush it, or if I just want to chill at camp. I'm just not quite sure yet. I went to the visitor center earlier, and the ranger hooked me up with, well, he hooked me up with this book about the Oscar Blevins Loop Trail, which I'm going to use just for like a mile and a half at the beginning of this hike to access the larger loop I'm going to do. And then I went ahead and bought this map here. Not the most responsible hiker in the world on this trip. I had GPS data, some maps that I found online that I saved in my phone, but I didn't have a paper map. I was banking on the fact that when I got here this morning, I would be able to get a map at the visitor center, and sure enough, I got one. National Geographic standard, not the lightest map in the world, usually not super detailed, but they do have these maps for just about anywhere you can think of, at least for me on the East Coast here. So that's what we're going to be using, and I'll just keep that in my pocket as we go. And then apparently I have this little info book as well. Little history as we roll along in Tennessee. Yep, I think we're going over here. Bugs are getting at me already. And spider webs apparently, but mostly, oh God, jeez, mostly gnats, which, you know, I'm kind of kicking myself right now because I just did a video where I reviewed this backpacking lantern that also had a bug zapper in it, specifically for mosquitoes, but it also seemed to work really well on gnats and stuff. And then here I am, I come down here to the the south on down to Tennessee, and I didn't bring it. And the reason is I have a lantern. It's also a USB charger that I keep all this camera equipment alive with, but for 7 ounces, I'm thinking I probably should have brought the bug zapper thing with me, but oh well, it did seem to work pretty well. What do we got here? Blevins Farm, 1.6, that kind of makes sense. And then we're going to get towards the Jack's Ridge Trail, so back into the woods here. The kind of starting point, if you will, for this hike is a 22-mile loop that I found on Backpacker Magazine's website back in 2013. And it kind of lays out a loop that we're going to be doing, and then it looks like I can kind of broaden the top of it if I want to. So either way, no matter what, in the beginning here, it said I'm doing 1.6 miles on this first leg, and that's what that sign said, so that makes sense. And then I think we're going to hit the Jack's Ridge Trail, and then I either continue north on that or I can cut over on like this creek trail. That might be cool because they're probably, actually from reading the article on Backpacker, there will be some good opportunities for campsites along water, but I don't know, I might get there really early. But then again, that might not be a terrible thing either. So we're just kind of playing it by ear. Trail contains ladders, stairs, and or bridges that will not support horses. All right, injury or all right, a little dramatic, but yeah, apparently we got some obstacles in our way. Interesting. Spider webs are a little intense. Now, I mentioned bugs earlier. Should probably also mention time of year. Right now, it's about the 3rd week of August or so, right? August 21st, I do believe it is. Somebody actually asked recently, when are you doing another backpacking video? And I said, definitely doing one in August, but I skipped July this year. It's just too hot. At this point in my hiking career, I would probably opt to do a sub-zero trip before a triple-digit summer hike. And just the heat, not really for me. Although right now, we're going to probably see into the, at least into the 90s, maybe not too deep into the 90s, degrees Fahrenheit that is. But July was just a little too much. Now, of course, I could have went up north and cooled down the temps a bit more, especially now in August. I mean, up in New Hampshire, could very easily get 30 degrees at night right now. But I really wanted to try out somewhere new, and so I headed for Tennessee. Oh, hey, buddy. Almost stepped on you. Don't worry. I will not tread on you. It's okay. How you doing? Pretty cool. All right. You have a good day, man. There you go, our first wildlife encounter. And here's another intersection. Not our first intersection, though. I've actually had several intersections, and unfortunately so far, no real signage or indication of what these trails are. This is a bike trail, so I'm pretty sure that's not me, but it doesn't really say. Now, I'm still looking for Jack's Ridge, and I have a feeling I'm not going the most efficient way. Thankfully, my GPS does have trails for this area on it. It's kind of sporadic. It's a little broken up, like Jack's Ridge is on here, but the actual connection to this trail is not there. It's kind of hard to explain, but I do at least know that I'm headed in the general direction of Jack's Ridge Trail. If not for that, I think with just the map, I'd be a little confused right now and would probably have to bust the compass out just to make sure I was doing the right thing. Because, yeah, a little confused with the intersections here. All right, well, I believe it's dawned on me that when I conferred with my friend at the ranger station about the Oscar Blevins loop, maybe I should have made it... Oh, more spiders. Hope that's not crawling on me. I probably should have made it more clear exactly what I was trying to do, or mention the fact that ultimately I'm trying to get to the Jack's Ridge Trail, because I think I ended up on this loop in the wrong direction, and it's kind of an unnecessary expedition I'm on right now. I guess we'll call it an extra 3 miles of cardio, you know, just earning dinner. So, whoops, that's my mistake, but that usually happens on these trips because I usually start the trip after sleeping in my car, like I did last night, with 4 hours of sleep. Not the clearest head in the world, I suppose. But I'm just going to blame it on those signs still. Makes me feel better about myself. It's always good to have excuses. I'm probably going to cut my losses and actually turn around and reluctantly backtrack. So let's try this again. Here's the intersection from before. I just came from down there. And upon further inspection, I believe that this up here should be the Katy Trail, which according to my trusty map, will connect us to the ever elusive Jack's Ridge Trail. Gravel, apparently. Entering Scott. Well, I don't think we're going that way. Scott State Forest. Okay. We're on a road, apparently. Thoroughly confused, people. Remember, these aren't how-to videos, that's for sure. How to make a bunch of mistakes, maybe. But, I mean, I am heading in the general direction of the trail. Sure doesn't look like a trail. Looks a lot like a road. Huh. Road end, 0.8 miles. All right. And then what? Ah, but wait, what do we have here? Aha! I do believe that says Jack Ridge Loop right over there. Perfect. Ah, and actually, check out that turtle. Speaking of real turtles, like we saw earlier, that turtle symbol, I believe, is probably the Sheltowie Trace Trail, or as I called it, continually mispronounced, Sheltowie? I forget. I was saying it horribly wrong, much to the chagrin of many of my viewers. But basically, where we're at right now, I believe is part of that long distance trail. Kind of like an Appalachian trail where they piece together a bunch of trails into a longer, bigger trail system. I believe that's probably what we're on here, because the first time that I came into contact with the Sheltowie Trace Trail was in Red River Gorge, like I mentioned. Now, we're in Tennessee right now. Kentucky's above us. And there's the Daniel Boone National Forest. That's actually a big strip of national forest that runs all the way from the top to the bottom of Kentucky. It's pretty impressive. And right now we're in Tennessee, so we're not in the Daniel Boone National Forest, but we're kind of below it on the map, if you will. And so it kind of makes sense that the Sheltowie Trace Trail comes through here as well. My spidey sense tells me don't go that way, but go this way. And yeah, somehow or another, we got back on track. I don't know how or why, but I definitely messed up. I would love to blame it on the backpacker article, but most likely I just did something wrong. But either way, we're back on track and moving along. It's about 12:30 now and 3.5 miles in instead of 1.5 miles, but it's okay. We still got plenty of time, and it's looking like maybe we won't do too aggressive of mileage today. So I see an intersection up here, and that should be, or hopefully, is our intersection with Laurel Creek Trail. Yeah, that's what it says. And we're going to be taking that. This is the section, or I should say the part of the trip where I had the option to make the loop a little bigger, go basically further up and around. But I think I'm going to keep it short because I did kind of do more miles already than anticipated. And also, I do want to camp along water tonight, or at least nearby, so I can get plenty of water for food and breakfast tomorrow and hydration, etc. Feeling my first raindrops here too. Well, it doesn't look too dark, but I might have to put this camera away. Just hopefully it doesn't come down too hard on me. I'm already fantasizing about just setting up camp and being out of the rain. That driving really does take it out of me, but that's the only way to get here if you're not going to fly. And for this distance, about a 10, 11 hour drive, it's not worth it to fly and spend all that money. So you suck it up and you drive, and you get out here and you do it. Woo! And this footing is a little treacherous compared to what I was on, at least. It's requiring a little more mental power and ankle power. You can tell when, speaking of rain, when it comes through heavy, this is probably just a whole deluge kind of creek bed coming down here. But right now it's relatively dry. It's just a lot of loose rock to make sure you keep your footing good on. I'm also starting to hear water in the distance for the first time. So as we lose elevation here and descend, I should start hearing that more, obviously. And then, I don't know, I'm not above just setting up camp if I see somewhere nice. That's usually what I don't do in these situations. Matter of fact, the last trip I went on was a solo trip, but not really a solo because I had my my best non-human friend with me, Denali, and we went down to West Virginia. And oh wow, look at that rock. It's a cool formation. We're going to see more of that as we go about our trip, most likely tomorrow based on what I'm saying now. But on that trip, I didn't get there until late in the day. I left that morning and did a long 7-hour drive. Got there at like, I don't know, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Got set up, didn't get to camp until like 8:30. The video actually started pretty much at night. So this video, kind of flip-flop. We'll actually have some time at camp today. Or at least that's what I say now. Next thing you know, I'll be hiking till 10. But as of right now, that's the plan. And Laurel Creek. I guess that's it right there. It looks like we might have to go across it. I did hear that during high flow, this can be a little interesting to cross, but since it's late August here, looks like it's just fine for us to get across. Whether or not I can do it without my feet getting wet, I'm not sure, but we might just be trudging through it. It does seem. Not gonna bother worrying about it too much. They'll dry. I got wool socks on, so they'll feel warm afterwards, even though they're going to be wet apparently. But let's just go ahead and go through it. I guess these blocks are here to help you, but really, I don't think they're going to keep me out of it, so... Uh-oh. Oh boy, that's rain. Got a plastic bag on my camera real quick. I don't know what that's making these shots look like, but it sounds pretty heavy. I guess, yeah, it's opening up. Better put the pack cover on and keep moving. Boy, sure do wish I was under a tarp right now. We're going to leave this horse trail that keeps going up there, and Station Camp Crossing, that's actually the trail that I was talking about that would have been the top of a bigger loop if I chose to do that. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to go towards that, and that is up here. It looks like they blocked it off for horses pretty good, getting their point across pretty well here. And luckily we can fit through with our backpack and our feet, and we're on our way. And the rain seems to have been just a brief shower, which is nice. It's back to sunny quite quickly, but we'll see if we get another band or not. But that was really just like a 10-minute shower. Pretty much just back and forth over the creek here. It's getting a little tight in here too. Seems like a little bit less used the further I get into these trails here, which kind of makes sense, but I haven't seen anybody. I saw one person early on when I was close to the road, and then one guy on a mountain bike. That's about it. Okay. Back under the canopy here. Trading back and forth. Some ups and downs as we go. Whoa. Almost walked right into that. Excuse me, sir. Ugh. Still got me. Oh well, at least the spider's not on me. Anyway, elevation. Finally getting some elevation. And I'm finally getting that heart rate up there for the first time of the trip. Up to about 6.5 miles now. So, I don't know where the last 3 went. Just kind of knocked them out. Well, there's some cool growth there. Look at that. Those are neat. Interesting area in here. And I like walking along the creek. It's nice. I am sweating. There's another spider. Oh, damn. Insects are getting me. But it's alright. Having a good time so far. Obstacle course here. Whew. All right. So once we get back down towards the water again on the actual Laurel Creek Trail, probably start keeping my eye out for some campsite opportunities. Getting some more of those cool rock formations too as we get further in here. Just be careful not to slip on these mossy rocks. That's for sure. Wouldn't want to do that. I think I may have just heard some thunder, but over here, and I was kind of expecting or hoping to see this based on the topo map, what I was seeing on that, and you can see a nice flattening out down there. In fact, there's a fire pit right there with some firewood already in it. Now, I'm on the trail right here, so it's looking down on it. Ideally, I'd like to be a little more tucked off the trail than that, but I think I may have to go down there and poke around. It's about 2 o'clock right now. For me, that's extremely early to get to camp, but I might go for it. Maybe over there, when it tucks in a little bit. And the water, I don't know if you can hear it, is actually just down in there where my finger is, kind of. So let's scout this out. Find a nice campsite. Darkened up in here a little bit too. Clouds are coming and going, but no rain again yet. Past the fire pit there. Go a little further over here, see what we got. Well, actually, yeah, it's kind of deceptive. So it drops off pretty sharp. It looks like I could kind of work down there, but yeah, you can't really walk up to it the way I was kind of hoping for. It does look cool down there, though. Almost reminds me of New Hampshire with the kind of rolling water over the rocks down in there. Pretty nice, but personally I want to be closer to water, so I think I'm going to keep moving. I want to be close to water, A, for convenience, right? Just so I can fill up easily. But then on top of that, another reason I want to be close is a lot of times this is actually something that you want to pay attention to because it can be a bad thing. But when you're close to water, it tends to be a bit cooler. And if it's cooler weather or cold weather, you would actually want to avoid that. In my case, here in the Tennessee heat of late August, it is plenty warm. If anything, I want it to be as cool as possible tonight. So ideally, I'd like to find somewhere near water for both convenience and potentially a little bit cooler. On top of that, sometimes in a low-lying area, cold air sinks, right? So you can kind of end up with a cold air kind of sink, or whatever you want to call it. And between the two situations there, maybe I can get it 5 degrees cooler tonight or so. We'll see. But either way, I'm just going to keep moving. Whoop, another spider web. Almost got me, buddy. Just going to keep moving down here. There's the trail. And from looking at the map, we're going to get close to this water at least 1 or 2 more times. So what I've done is, on my GPS, which some people ask, it's a Garmin 600 series Oregon model, I set a proximity alarm for another area that I found. I tagged it just now. That just looks like it has some flat area on the topo. And this will beep when I get within 1/10 of a mile of it. And then actually, now that I'm looking at it, I see another spot I'm going to tag. Sometimes I get in the zone and I just start trucking along. Next thing I know, I've clicked off another mile or half mile or whatever, and I've walked right by what I was going to check out. And most likely, if I walk by it, it wasn't that great. But sometimes you can walk by stuff that on the topo map looks really good, and it is good, but you're just tunnel vision on the trail, or maybe you're looking at some pretty trees over there or whatever. So this will beep and wake me up. Now, before I forget, I'm going to set that other proximity alarm, so I'll have a couple potentials. And actually, I can see with my own 2 eyes right here This looks pretty good too, although I'm getting further away from the water. I want to wind back towards the water. That's another thing I want to pay attention to, so we'll see. Wow, actually, this area here, the other side of the trail down in here, if you can see it, it's like a cool pool down in there. This little island, well, it's not really an island, it's like a monadnock, mini one. I don't know if you can get up on top of there, but there's water there, running water over there. Looks pretty cool. Whether or not it's a good campsite or not, I don't know, but if you were looking to take a dip, this would be a great spot, so I'm gonna tag it. Speaking of my GPS, I just threw a waypoint down, so again, I put that up on my website, so if anybody wants to see the whole track that I'm doing, I apologize for the beginning part of the trip. Maybe in the video description I'll try to sort out exactly what happened, because that was a little confusing. But any items like this, oh, this is really flat over here. I think we found home for tonight. I will throw up a waypoint, and I definitely throw up a waypoint for places like camp. So this might be both, because I see a fire pit down there, and that pool is around the corner there, and running water's over there. This could be a fun place to explore and hang out at, as well as ample camping. Yeah, I think this is it, guys. Even if I can't walk right up to the water, I'm sure I can hobble my way down there enough just to get some water. Look at these cool rocks. Very cool. All I need is 2 trees. It's just me, so it's much easier to find just 2 trees. I don't have to worry about, sometimes when my wife and I come out, we'll do like a triangle of trees, 3 trees, although we got the new hammock, the Dutch Rare Chameleon, where we can get 2 hammocks on 1 tree, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah, I think we're home for tonight. Look at this. Oh, there's the water. Walk right up to it. Let's do it right now. Don't slip now, that would be terrible. Oh, wow. It's really flowing over there. You hear that? This is an awesome campsite. I'm just calling it right now. That's definitely one of the nice things about coming out on a Tuesday instead of a Saturday too. I would imagine this spot is pretty well known. I don't think I'm that lucky, but since it's, well, the other thing too is it's early in the day, right? It's not even 3 o'clock, or is it? Yeah, 2:40. So it's 2:40 on a Tuesday. You can grab stuff like this. Not bad at all. I haven't really eaten much. Probably not a good idea. I've hydrated well, but I have not snacked well. So I should get some food in me. And then we're gonna have a fun dinner tonight, that is for sure. And I'm gonna get this pack off my shoulders. That is definitely for sure. Woo! Feels good. Still got the rain cover on there. I guess I should get the tarp up first. That would be smart, just in case it does open up on me, because it is forecasted, like I said, thunderstorms anytime. I don't know if I have internet now, probably not, so I have no way. I think a tree, squirrel just fell out of that tree over there. Pardon my startledness. I was about to fight that squirrel. What was I saying? Yes, the weather. It said earlier after 12 today, noon, we could get some thunderstorms, and then another round late at night, and then some more in the morning tomorrow. I hope that doesn't happen. There's nothing like leaving camp when it's raining, but the nice thing about a hammock setup is my tarp is independent, so I can get everything packed up, then I throw the tarp in last minute, and I roll out, and at least my stuff stays dry. Anyway, let's get set up. The tarp. You've seen it before if you've watched any of the other videos. I shouldn't assume that you have, but same tarp as many trips over the years. Cuban fiber tarp by Hammock here. Do love this guy. So what I usually do first, and I have it in the stuff sack it came with, in addition to snake skins, which basically means it's already set up like this right here, right? This allows me, along with my continuous ridge line, to walk around and find suitable trees. Actually, I marked with permanent marker the minimum distance between trees on here, so I can just walk around, and without even bothering to set up, I can see if I have trees that are going to work for me. And that's what I'll do right now, because I see a couple spots that look potential, but you never know. Sometimes they're a little far apart, sometimes they're too close, and once in a while one's just right. and the princess is able to go about her night. So let's do some scouting, shall we? So found my trees, and you can see I have my line up first. So this is my continuous ridge line. I have a Dutch wasp titanium that tensions it right there. I have this prusik knotted creation here, right? Now it's actually called a soft shackle, and you can, the way it's configured, you can make these yourself. I was lazy and I got them already made from Dutch. But that actually slips through itself and locks down without any hardware to disconnect and reconnect your tarp to really save weight. But in my case, I'll show you what I did. I just have S-beaners, really tiny ones. I find that to be a little better for me just in critical situations, like if I was getting dumped on with the rain right now. And then down here, the second one. And then at the end is just a little Dutch piece of hardware here to connect to the tree. It just clips onto itself. So all the tension comes from the other end down there. So now all I got to do, the line is up. This breeze, by the way, feels amazing. Probably doesn't sound great, but it feels really good. Speaking of the breeze though, if there is rain tonight, the wind's coming this way, so I'm setting up so that my tarp is over here, A-frame style. So the tarp is going to block that wind at night. So anyway, I got my tarp right there, and like I said, on the end I have these little micro S-beaners. They are super small and they just clip right on. So I take it like that, there we go, and I put it on there, and then I do it at the other end. There it is. And then this basically works, a prusik, it'll slide. You can loosen it a little bit. It's just wrapped around there a couple times, and I slide that down, get the right tension on each end, and then once I'm all fine-tuned, I'll be good to go. Now right now it's not actively raining, so it's not the end of the world. I can actually put my hammock up first and really dial it in. But if it was raining right now, I'd put this up at least in some sort of haphazard condition just to get the rain off of me, and I would be okay. I really do like this setup. And I don't have to go back and forth and undo knots or adjust tension to move it back and forth. Once the hammock's up, I can center it by just moving these little guys back and forth without tying or untying anything. So enough blabbing, let's actually set this up, right? Because the wind is kicking up. I wonder if that means the storm's coming. So in the pack here, and I sent a message to my wife with the spot. The second button I can set just says I'm at camp and this is where I'm staying tonight. So I sent that message to her a little while ago. And let's get the hammock out of the old ULA Ohm. And remember, all the gear on this video, if you want details, I'll spare you because there's a whole separate video on it linked up in the corner there where the little eye is. You can click that and do my 2017 gear video. There's my cook kit. And slowly get, oh boy, that's a heavy bag. What's that? That's all my food. Now, I did mostly food that is not dehydrated. Well, I did some that is, but I have canned goods. I mean, I'm kicking it 1970s style here. I went to Walmart last night. Check this out. I got some corned beef with hot chili seasoning. Yes, that's right. I'm still doing the low carb thing, people. I do enjoy that, and I find my energy levels are just awesome for hiking. I mean, today I should have ate more, but right or wrong, I didn't, and I never really petered out. I feel pretty good right now. I just know I should eat. But anyway, I got this. I do have some dehydrated eggs in here. I don't know if it's going to be my dinner or my breakfast. Vienna sausages. Those of you who don't like canned food are cringing right now. My mom tells me, I vaguely have memories of this. I was really young, you know how that is. My mom tells me I used to love these things. And I don't know, I saw them last night. They were high fat, some protein, and minimal carbs. So there's a snack for me. And then I have tuna, already made into tuna salad, little kits to get some protein in me. Almonds are a good source of energy with lower carbs. Spam, of course. And I don't know, some of this, like, is it going to be breakfast? Is it going to be lunch? Is it going to be dinner? It's just whatever I feel like. I don't even know what I'm having for dinner tonight. I also have here some packet gourmet items that are actually okay for low carb. Now, they're a little higher than I might do at home, but I'm burning a lot of calories trucking along. But this bag right here, oh, this is Migos del Sol. That's actually dehydrated eggs. I'll probably skip those tortillas right there, but I have eggs to go with my corned beef hash at some point. And this here is, okay, yeah, the chicken salads. They're about 10 grams of carbs. That's fine because it's really, I'm not eating a whole lot of other stuff. It's not like I'm eating trail mix or Cliff Bars or anything like that. That could either be a lunch or a dinner. I have 2 of those. One's ranch and one's buffalo pepperoni. It's a good high-fat thing. Long-lasting energy. Some coconut oil is super good long-lasting energy as well. I'll put that in my coffee. Oh, it's liquid right now. It's hot. I better put that up right. I double bagged it. I do not need that leaking all over my stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Some more Vienna sausage, some more Spam. I kind of overdid it on the food, but I grabbed all this stuff last night and just threw it in the bag. So yeah, that's my food situation. What was I doing? Oh, right. You can tell I'm hungry. I got really distracted. This is my hammock. That's all there is to it, people. I know, it's crazy. I forget the exact weight. Is it 10 ounces or something like that? This is my Dutchware half width. It's all gone over in that gear video, but you'll see it when it's up. And then these are my straps for it. The whole situation is less than a pound. And then my tarp is less than a half pound. It's 5 ounces plus the lines. Love it. Let's set up. All right, well, certainly getting darker out here. So glad I have this up. Again, don't feel any rain, but because of that threat of rain, I do have, you'll notice, the side pullouts already out and ready to go. So a lot of times I don't even bother with these guys at all, but it does make it just a little more bomb-proof. I found during high winds and rain, it's just 2 extra attachment points to secure the tarp and also to keep it from moving around during high winds and stuff. Because I'm feeling that wind right now, I figure if I get a storm, it might bash into me pretty decent, and I don't want to have the tarp all messed up and get wet. There's the hammock under there. Show that a little more tomorrow if you haven't already seen it, but I do like that hammock. And right now, I gotta collect firewood, that's for sure. Although, firewood collection probably going to require some energy, so it would be smart for me to fuel up a little bit first. And let's see how the Vienna sausage holds up to my parent childhood memories. And I just felt raindrops. Oh boy, it's opening up. All right, let's try this real quick. Let's see how the Vienna sausage is. It's about 240 calories for this little can here. And I gotta get my camera out of the rain. Looks like I'll be cooking or eating sausage underneath of the tarp after all. I don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna get super fancy with the cooking tonight if I'm stuck under the tarp. Might put on a podcast and just relax, eat whatever food I have that's easy to make, and well, we'll play out the fire thing depending on the rain. Anyway, all right, I know you're all on the edge of your seat. Not bad. I can see why a little kibble like this. The texture is pretty soft. It basically falls apart in your mouth. I am eating it cold. I don't know what you're supposed to. Are you supposed to heat these up? Pretty good. It's not bad. It's definitely calories. Oh boy. And I hear that rain is dumping, so gotta go. Whew. Alright, so I ran over here. I suddenly was like, man, it must be really coming down because my leg is so wet all of a sudden. And then I realized, no, I didn't pee myself, thankfully. But the sausages come packed in chicken broth of some sort, right? Yeah, chicken broth. And I poured it all down my leg. So I'm essentially like bear bait right now. And it is coming down good out there, by the way. So I'm stuck right here. And so are you. And I'm glad that we got this tarp up when we did. You hear that? All right, well, we're not going anywhere for a little while. No, sir. Remember, always put the tarp up first. Wow, I am glad that we got to camp early. I would have got soaked right at the last minute, or the last hour, or evening, or whatever. It's been about 40 minutes or so, and I feel like it's slowing down a little bit. It got pretty hard for a little bit there. And now I think we're at the point where you're under your tarp. I know what happens to me. I feel like it's still Armageddon, but it's really just kind of magnified by the sound of the raindrops on the tarp. It's probably not as bad as it sounds, but it was definitely heavy earlier, or heavier earlier. I feel like I see some sun over there. Hopefully it brightens up. I would like to go out and have a fire, although it's nice under here. It's comfortable. I don't even have my quilts on here yet, but because of that, I feel a little bit of coolness on my backside here, as is usually the case when you're in a hammock, but actually feels pretty good, so I'm not bothering with the underquilt for now, that's for sure. And I'm just waiting the rain out. That's about it. Well, at this point, it's been like an hour and a half. Fairly certain it's not raining out there anymore. Had a little siesta. I didn't really sleep, but I've been hanging out, lounging, and I think I'm gonna finally go out there and collect some firewood. I think it's about that time. Oh wow, it's like entering a whole new world. Nice and dry, quiet. I'm telling you, there's little raindrops on the tarp. A lot louder when you're underneath it. But right now, we're back to clear. Now, of course, all of my tinder over here is, at least on the outside, soaked. That's okay. I'm gonna probably build a teepee out of that first. Get it started. Now, if Mike was here, he would not agree with this. Sorry, Trail Killer, aka Trail Slipper. But yeah, I'm impatient. Probably won't work out. And I'm gonna make a teepee with what I have right there. And then I'm just gonna feed it with whatever I have around here, which actually, like I said earlier, is surprisingly pretty good, although it's all been rained on now. But maybe under some of these rock alcoves and whatnot, I can find something. Make a little fire. We'll see. Alright, so it's starting to rain again, but I did grab a handful of debris and duff from underneath of my hammock and tarp setup where I was hanging out for the last hour and a half. So this stuff is, compared to everything else around here, very dry. And I'll put a handful of this stuff right here in the bottom. And I'm also going to squeeze in, as I mentioned in that same gear video for the what's in my pack video, a little bit of hand sanitizer. Just a couple squeezes. I use this anyway to keep my hands clean, and it's also very flammable. Grab my lighter, light this up, see if it gets anywhere. If it does, I'll start collecting wood. So actually in my cook kit, my lighter, plus I have matches and a backup lighter. And let's see what happens. Hand sanitizer should light up if we're lucky. If I can remember where I squirted it. There we go. Burns pretty hot. So hot that you won't see a orange flame. It'll be blue, so you might think it's not lit. Oh boy, but it is. And again, it is quite wet, so we just gotta hope for the best and really try to nurture it in the beginning here until we get it hot enough to hopefully really crank along and dry out any small sticks we throw in it. Come on, hang in there. I essentially have just a tiny little core in the middle there, barely hanging on. All this wood on the outside is very wet. I'm just keeping it on the outskirts, kind of reserve units, to hopefully dry out as this process goes on. And I'm feeding it like the tiniest little pieces of twigs and sticks that you can possibly imagine, just to really build up a nice solid core there. I don't know. At some point we'll have dinner. Now, of course, I have the Esbit stove system that I can cook my food with, but you know, again, it's not even 5 o'clock. I don't have a whole lot to do right now, so I might as well entertain myself with trying to get this fire going. We're gonna go with Spam tonight. Keep it simple. Now, in the last video, I used my 750 ml cook pot and I kind of sauteed it up. And somebody made a good point. They said, why don't you just sharpen a stick and fire roast it? So I'm going to sharpen this stick with this here knife. Now, I did mention earlier my 2017 gear video matches this gear just about exactly, but somewhere along the lines I misplaced my multi-tool, the credit card shaped one. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my house, but I brought my regular knife. But that's kind of working out because I got a good grip on it. I'm going to sharpen this up I'm going to put blocks of Spam on it. Apparently, sir, I hope you're right, because this is kind of like a faux formed meat. Fast fact, Spam is actually cooked in the can. Yeah, so it's fully cooked and it's ready to go. But is it going to really hold together? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to try cutting it into chunks, putting it on a stick, and roasting it over this fire. And that is assuming that the fire doesn't go out, which actually right now it is, because I'm paying more attention to filming and running my mouth. All things considered though, today's going pretty well. Not bad at all. I mean, I'm in the middle of the woods, whittling a stick. I'm getting a bunch of wood in my Spam right now too, which is interesting, but I guess it's fiber. That's pretty sharp. It's ready to go. Oh, look, my fire came back to life. Right on. Go Rambo style. 2 pieces at once, what do you think? It's dripping Spam juice on me as we speak. It's on my elbow. Plus I had the Vienna sausage broth, so I'm definitely going to get killed by a bear tonight. That smoke is right in my face. There we go. Now see, I should have built like a rotisserie here. Next time. If Trail Slipper was here, probably would have built that by now, but for right now, we'll just do flame broiled. Alright, got a nice sizzle on these. Grab the cup, pop them in, see how it tastes. Oh, that's nice and toasty now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fire roasted Spam. Nice hardwood flavor. Nice and hot. Fat is nice and sizzly. I'm waiting all day for that. That is good. Woo! My God, that's hot. It's really tasty. Just going to cook the rest about the same way. After that, it's working on 6 o'clock. So probably going to eat this, a couple more batches, and then hit the hay. I mean, it's not going to get dark for 2 or 3 more hours, something like that. But like I said earlier in the video, about 4 hours of sleep max, 3 to 4, after I hit the Walmart in Knoxville, Tennessee this morning to get a couple more provisions. So when I showed up here, I was a little tired, and I still am, and I think it's catching up to me. And this is a very relaxing area, so I'm probably going to finish my Spam, soak it in, hit the hay, or the hammock rather, and start again in the morning.